Okay, we're back from math. We're adding and subtracting fractions. Here's our standard that we're working on this week. I can add and subtract fractions and mixed numbers with unlike denominators by finding a common denominator and equivalent fractions to produce like denominators. I can solve word problems involving addition and subtraction of fractions, including cases of unlike denominators, use benchmark fractions and number sense of fractions to estimate mentally and assess the reasonableness of answers. Basically, what we're doing today, guys, we're going to be solving word problems by adding fractions. We're going to use rectangular models to help us find the equivalent fractions so that we can have common denominators for problems that have unlike denominators or denominators with different numbers. Okay, just please look at this. I'll give you a couple of seconds to look at this so you can review what you have learned in 3rd and 4th grade about fractions. Okay, here we go. Just to get your brains warmed up, which one of these triangles do you think does not belong? And explain why. Find someone in your house to share. So pause the video, choose your answer, and find someone to share. All right. Yesterday, we used fraction bars to help us find equivalent fractions in order to add fractions with unlike denominators. Today, we're going to continue our work with adding unlike denominators. I'm going to show you how to add fractions with unlike denominators by using rectangular models. Let's look at this situation. Jamie was reading a book. She read 2/5 of the book on Saturday and 1/3 of the book on Sunday. How much of the book has she read so far? So, here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to summarize what this question is asking. It's telling me that Jamie read a book, and it wants to know how much she read on Saturday and Sunday. It wants to know how much she read altogether. So when I hear that word altogether, and we're talking about 2 parts, Saturday and Sunday, I know I'm going to be adding. Now I'm thinking, what am I adding? I'm going to add 1/3 plus 2/5. So, here is how I'm set up my problem. I have my 2/5 plus my 1/3. So I created rectangular models. When I create my rectangular models, I draw a square, and then I look at my denominator and I see that I have 5. So in order for me to have 5 parts, I draw 4 lines. So I drew 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and you will see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. So those are my 5 parts, and I have 2 parts that are shaded because that's what my numerator says. Okay? And if you notice, my first number, I started drawing the lines top to bottom, top to bottom. Okay? Then my second box is going to represent my 1/3. So I do 2 lines going across, and I'm going to shade in 1/3. Okay? So now I'm going to create equivalent fractions. Well, Ms. Wright, how are you going to do that? Well, these lines that I have going across, I'm going to put them over here so that both boxes will look the same. So I'm going to draw my 1, 2 lines over here, and I'm going to identify what the equivalent fraction is. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 that are shaded. Now I'm going to count how many is in the whole group to identify the denominator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 6 15ths plus. Okay. Now I have my 2 lines, but I need my 3 parts I put over here. Now I need to put my 5 parts over here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I know I have 5 going across and 3 going down. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, and how many are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here are my equivalent fractions. So 2/5, the equivalent fraction, so I can have a common denominator, is 6 15ths. And 1/3, my equivalent fraction in 15ths, is 5 15ths. So now I can add because I have like denominators. So my denominator is now 15. 6 plus 5 equals 11. So my answer is 11 15ths. Again, ladies and gentlemen, when you are adding fractions that have unlike denominators, you want to create a square or rectangular model. Remember, when you start out and you're drawing your lines, your denominator tells you how many parts. You want to have 1 less of lines so you can have that many parts. Okay? This is how you create your models. All right, so if I was to put my answer in, my answer would be 11 15ths. She's read 11 15ths of the book. Today, when you're working in your small groups, you will use rectangular models to help you add fractions with unlike denominators.